the darkness descended without warning. Hello everyone, you are on the Digital Fresh channel. Plunging my beautiful, carefully curated smart home into an unnerving silence. A quiet that felt less like peace and more like a held breath before a scream. Imagine this, if you can. I had just settled onto the couch, ready to begin my evening routine, the one I had spent countless hours optimizing, when the voice assistant, usually so cheerful and responsive, simply stopped. "Good evening, Alexa. Dim the living room lights by 75% and start the relaxation playlist," I commanded, but my words dissolved into the air, unacknowledged, unanswered. The lights, those expensive color-shifting smart bulbs, remained stubbornly, blindingly bright, and the premium streaming speaker was tragically mute. My sanctuary, my technological haven, had become a prison of uncooperative gadgets. A scene straight out of a low-budget sci-fi horror film where the machines finally rebel against their human overlords. That immediate wave of frustration you just felt imagining that scenario is the heart of what we are going to unravel today, my friends. We are diving deep into the terrifying world of smart home nightmares, specifically focusing on those maddening integration failures that turn a convenient, futuristic lifestyle into a chaotic mess of reboot loops and confusing error messages. I am going to share my hard-won knowledge, the secrets I have uncovered after far too many nights spent troubleshooting blinking lights and silent speakers, teaching you exactly how to conquer these common technical terrors. By the time we finish this journey together, you will possess a newfound power, the ability to diagnose and fix what I call the ghost in the smart machine, restoring harmony and functionality to your digital domain. We will explore the three main culprits: the phantom of connectivity chaos, the monster of compatibility curses, and the baffling beast of automation breakdown. Let us begin with the most frequent offender, the phantom I call connectivity chaos, because at the heart of nearly every smart home issue lies a sick, sad network. Your devices, your little digital army, rely entirely on a stable, robust internet connection to communicate not just with the outside world, but more importantly, with each other. When that connection falters, your smart home does not just get slow, it essentially becomes blind and deaf, an expensive collection of disconnected plastic boxes. Think about the router, that unassuming little box tucked away in a corner. It is the central nervous system of your entire smart existence, and too often we treat it with unforgivable neglect. A simple power cycle, the classic turn it off and on again move, can magically clear up temporary software glitches and refresh those network connections. I know it sounds almost too easy to be true, but trust me, it works a surprisingly high number of times. I once spent a grueling hour trying to figure out why my outdoor security camera refused to stream, only to realize that unplugging the router for 10 seconds and plugging it back in was the simple, elegant solution that brought my video feed roaring back to life. But sometimes the issue is more insidious than a simple software hiccup. Sometimes your Wi-Fi signal is just too weak, a common problem, especially in larger homes. Picture the signal trying to push through a thick concrete wall, or battling interference from your microwave oven or a nearby cordless phone base station. It is a brutal, invisible war of radio waves. In this struggle, your little smart sensor, tucked away in the far corner of your garage, is the casualty, dropping offline like a lost soldier. To combat this widespread signal sickness, you might need to embrace the power of the mesh network. A mesh system uses multiple access points spread throughout your home, acting like a relay team to ensure strong, consistent coverage from the basement to the attic. This is a game changer, moving beyond the single, struggling router to create a seamless blanket of reliable connectivity. Remember, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, and a weak Wi-Fi signal will absolutely be the downfall of your most complex automations. You also need to make sure your router's firmware is up to date. Think of firmware as the operating system for your network hardware, and just like your phone or your computer, it needs regular updates to maintain optimal performance and security. These updates often include crucial bug fixes that directly address connectivity issues, silently working to keep your home running smoothly in the background. Moving on from the network itself, let us tackle the second major source of disappointment, the compatibility curse. I cannot even count the number of times a friend has excitedly purchased a new, sleek smart gadget, only to spend an entire afternoon in defeated silence trying to make it talk to their existing smart platform. The world of smart home technology is a bewildering, fragmented landscape, with different devices speaking different electronic languages, and when they cannot communicate, they simply refuse to play nice together. This is the heart of the integration failure, a communication breakdown between devices from different brands or using different underlying technologies. For instance, you might have a lighting system that uses the Zigbee wireless protocol, but your new door lock uses Z-Wave, and your voice assistant relies on Wi-Fi. Without a central translator, often called a smart hub or a bridge, these devices will exist in isolation, completely unaware of one another's presence. The key to overcoming this curse is to embrace a strategic, platform-centric approach. Before you buy a device, any device, you absolutely must do your homework. Look for the little logos that explicitly state compatibility with your chosen ecosystem, be that Amazon Alexa, Google Home, or another dedicated platform. Do not fall for vague promises of works without concrete proof. I learned this the hard way with a gorgeous but ultimately useless smart fountain that advertised generic voice control support but had no official integration with my Home Hub, leaving me with a beautiful analog water feature that mocked my technological aspirations. The solution, in many cases, is to invest in a versatile multi-protocol hub, a single device designed specifically to speak all the different languages, effectively acting as a universal translator for your entire collection of smart gadgets. By channeling all communication through a single, powerful device, you drastically reduce the potential for these frustrating integration failures and create a truly unified smart experience where every device knows its role and executes its commands flawlessly. Another sneaky aspect of the compatibility curse involves the often overlooked issue of frequency bands. Many low-power smart devices, such as simple sensors and plugs, operate exclusively on the 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi band, which is great for range but slower than the 5 GHz band used by your laptop or streaming television. The integration nightmare occurs when your router is configured to only use the 5 GHz band, or when the 2.4 GHz band is overloaded or too far away. Your brand new smart bulb might connect initially, but then it drops off because the signal it needs is either missing or too weak for a stable connection. A simple but effective fix is to ensure your router is broadcasting a strong 2.4 GHz signal, and in some cases, you may need to temporarily disable the 5 GHz band during the initial setup of new devices to force them to connect to the correct network. Finally, we confront the most complex and often the most emotionally crushing source of failure, the automation breakdown. These are the routines and scenes that you have meticulously crafted, the ones designed to execute a sequence of actions at a certain time or in response to a specific trigger. For example, when I unlock the front door after sunset, turn on the entryway light, and play my favorite jazz album. It is a beautiful vision of seamless living, but when it fails, when you walk into a pitch-black house, or your house is suddenly blasting heavy metal instead of smooth jazz, it is a deeply personal betrayal. The failure here is not a network issue, nor is it a device incompatibility in the traditional sense. It is a logic error in the chain of commands. A common culprit is the dependency trap, where one action depends on another device being online and operational. Take my own early morning disaster as a perfect example. I set up an automation that began with a smart plug turning on my coffee maker. The next step was for the voice assistant to announce the news headlines 5 minutes later. One morning, the coffee maker failed to start because the smart plug had been accidentally unplugged, a simple oversight. But because the coffee maker did not draw power, the subsequent announcement never fired, leaving me with no coffee and no news. Two absolute deal breakers for a productive day. The failure was not the voice assistant, it was the broken link in the chain. To solve this, you must simplify your automations and verify all dependencies. Before you hit save, literally walk through the logic in your mind, asking, if step 1 fails, will step 2 still execute, and should it? Often breaking one complex routine into 3 simpler, independent routines is the key to achieving robust, reliable operation. You need to verify that all the devices involved are indeed online and their firmware is up to date. because an old software version on just one component can derail an entire, otherwise perfect automation sequence. Another insidious form of automation breakdown stems from what I call conflicting commands. This happens when you have two separate routines that, at a given moment, are trying to control the same device in contradictory ways. Imagine one routine is set to dim the lights to 20% at 9 o'clock in the evening for movie time, but you also have a motion sensor routine that is set to turn the lights to 100% whenever motion is detected after sunset. If both conditions are met at the same time, the poor smart bulb is caught in an electronic tug-of-war, often resulting in erratic blinking or the routine simply freezing up because the platform cannot decide which command to prioritize. The fix here requires a careful audit of your scene settings, often requiring you to designate one routine as the master controller or to adjust the timing of the conflicting routines so they never overlap. Use the diagnostic tools within your smart home platform to look for command logs, which can often pinpoint the exact moment two commands clashed and caused the resulting failure. We have journeyed through the dark corners of connectivity chaos, navigated the complex mazes of the compatibility curse, and defeated the frustrating beast of automation breakdown. You now know that a simple reboot can be a miracle cure, that a mesh network is the cavalry for a weak Wi-Fi signal, that a multi-protocol hub is the necessary translator for a divided smart home, and that logical simplicity is the key to creating automations that actually work as intended. But my challenge to you is to take this knowledge and not simply fix what is broken, but to proactively build a better smart home. Do not wait for the next silent night, the next unacknowledged command to take action. Go now, right after you finish listening to this, and check your router's firmware. Open your smart home app and audit your most complex routine. Take a screenshot of that one automation that always seems to fail and break it down into smaller, more reliable steps. The true promise of smart home technology is not just in the gadgets we buy, but in the intelligent way we integrate and maintain them. You have the power to move beyond the frustration, to turn those smart home nightmares into sweet dreams of seamless, perfect convenience. Embrace the role of the master controller and never let your technology go dumb again. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell.